Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel for another video. In this one we're looking at the faction focus for Imperial Knights. So as usual with what Games Workshop have done with these articles, to give you a brief headline preview of 3 detachments, a few enhancements and some stratagems. So let's get into some of the goodies for the Imperial Knights. And we're starting off with the Dominus 4 breakers. So basically this detachment is already singing about the big knights, so the Castellan and I can't remember the name of the other one right now. But let's go into its detachment rule, and that is Reign of Devastation. So friendly Imperial Knight Dominus units attacks even. The target unit in a terrain area now have +1 to hit. Pretty solid. Getting a bonus to hit is always nice, especially with weapons as powerful as the Dominus class knights carry, especially in the case of the Castellan. So what this also does is it kind of cancels out the ballistic skill penalty that you would have for firing into units in cover that will be coming in 11th edition. So you're basically hitting them at your base ballistic, for all intents and purposes, at your base ballistic skill. And it also stacks with the plunging fire, which affects units with the towering keyword, a la Imperial Knights. So good stuff all around. And the enhancement for this particular detachment is Blessed Plate, Imperial Knight Dominus model. Only this model has +1 toughness. So yeah, increasing the toughness of your Dominus Knight to 13 just gives you that smidgen of extra protection. And as they say in the article here, even a strength 24 Thundercoil Harpoon only wounds on 3s. Yeah, that's a pretty solid enhancement in my book. The Valiant, that's the other Dominus class knight I was thinking of. It's the one I can never remember because the Castellan's by far my favourite of the two, but it also mentions here, since they have neither the Castellan or the Valiant have any real melee weapons to speak of, instead of having to resort to doing their happy feet dance, it's basically best to use the guns whilst they're engaged. So most of the guns they have blast, so you can't fire them at yourself. But wait, there's a stratagem for that. Introducing the 4-breaker Firestorm. Use it in your shooting phase when a friendly engaged Imperial Knight's Dominus unit is selected to shoot, and the target is said Dominus unit. Your unit's blast range attacks don't have blast, have +1 attack. So yeah, the problem of not being able to shoot things surrounding you because your weapons have blast all of a sudden becomes a thing of the past. This stratagem does cost 1 command point, by the way, so a relatively cheap one for a relatively powerful effect. Because people are going to want to keep your Dominus busy, and well, Dominus tap dancing isn't the most efficient way to deal with mobs surrounding them. So yeah, we'll give them a phase full of plasma cannon, volcano cannon, that sort of thing. Very nice. Very, very nice. I like all of this. Up next is the Questor Forge Pact detachment. Now, this is basically slight copy and paste and rejig of a detachment that was released as part of Grotmus previously, because it allows knight armies to basically take a small detachment of Adeptus Mechanicus units to go alongside them. So you can bring some Scutari to make up numbers and deal with enemy infantry, that sort of thing. So let's get into the detachment rule, excuse me, for this one, and it is Cogbound Alliance. Friendly Imperial Knight models have the following ability: assisted targeting aura. Whilst friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit is within 6 of this model, that Adeptus Mechanicus unit's range attacks have +1 ballistic skill and heavy. Friendly Tech Priest models also have the following ability: Sacristan Pledge. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Imperial Knight model within 3 of this model that has not been selected by this ability this phase. If you do, that model heals D3 wounds. That's the kicker. Your knight takes a few dings, Tech Priest walks up, bit of T-cut, WD-40, sorts some rig out. Mechanicus Allies. It continues. You can include Tech Priest Dominus, Tech Priest Manipulus, Martial, Rangers, Vanguard units in your army. See the respective codex. Up to the value of 500 points. So you can bring a 500. Anything with those keywords, you can bring up to 500 points along with your knight's army. So it's a way to add some numbers. It's a way to add some different firepower, some different tactics. Pretty solid. And for the enhancement with this, it's the Magos Questoris. Tech Priest model only. When using this model's Sacristan Pledge ability, the selected Imperial Knights model heals 2 mortal wounds. So, yep, you can go from anywhere to a minimum of 3 to a maximum of 5. Yes, we like that a lot. Especially nice for keeping some of the juicier prime target knights alive. You just have a Tech Priest sitting nearby. The knight protects them by screening. Tech Priest fixes up knight. Knight does what it does. Can't complain with that. And then finally, for this one, you have the stratagem, Vengeance of the Machine Cult. Use it in any phase when a friendly Imperial Knight's Titanic unit is destroyed by an enemy, and you use it on a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit. The effect is the enemy unit is marked until the end of a battle. While the unit is marked, friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit attacks, but target that unit can reroll wound rolls. So, you killed one of the Omnissiah's favourite war machines, and now the Admech are mightily annoyed at you. And they're going to take you down. Pretty solid, me like. I think it could potentially be a good detachment. Maybe not something I'd run because I'm all about the low model counts, but definitely very thematic. And yeah. And finally, we have the Throne Bonded Outriders. Detachment rule, driven from their lairs. Whilst a friendly armoured unit is affected by a bondsman ability, that unit's range attacks have ignores cover. I think you can see where this is going. This detachment has the armigers tag and cannot be taken with another armigers detachment. So like I mentioned before, in the Custodes focus, you have some detachments that revolve around a certain tag, and you can't, from what we know, take multiple detachments with that same tag. So in this case, if you take this detachment, anything else that has the armigers tag is off the table for the rest of your army composition. So basically, this detachment is an absolute dream for my favourite armor type, the Helveman. I mean, yes, the melter and the thermal spear ones will benefit as well, but it's tailor made for the Helvens. I mean, yeah, because we don't have the towering keyword and the plunging fire wibble, but they have this, so the accuracy is still as good as ever. It's a nice detachment, well, I like this one. Now into the enhancement. Upgraders, Ancestral Overbleed upgrade as it mentions here. Armor unit only. When you target this unit with the Fire Overwatch heroic interventum stratagem, that uses -1 command point. So, situational, I have to say, on the face of it, this one. I mean, yes, it could be nice on the armigers to land a couple of Overwatch pot shots, or to intervene if some heroically intervene if something's going after one of your bigger knights, but yeah, I think that one's just too situational for my tastes. And finally, to the stratagem for this particular detachment that they've shown is the Neural Lash. Use it in the command phase on a friendly Imperial Knights Titanic unit. Select one of friendly battle-shocked armiger unit within 12 of your unit. That armiger unit is no longer battle-shocked. We'll take that. Just instantly cancel an effect. All day long, we will take that. And that wraps up everything shown so far for the Imperial Knights faction focus. So, what do you guys think? Yay, nay, indifferent? As always, let me know in the comments and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.